welcome to Lamb Chop Racing out on Zwift. We are on the Watopia Volcano CCW, the counterclockwise circuit today. Racing series with this racing series has been going on for 6 weeks, and today we are in the women's only race, followed up in our broadcasting with the open race in 45 minutes from now. D, C, B, and A categories all racing against each other in this handicap race. It's meaning that the A, Bs, and Cs and Ds all set off at different times, as you see on the screen there in front of you, and they chase each other for the win. First rider across the line takes the win in their, not only in their category, but also in the race overall. So community racing, anybody in the community can win. I'm Nathan Garby, your commentator for today for this final race, race number 6 in the Lamb Chop series. This is in partnership with Black Sheep Cycling. They are a cycling apparel brand out of Brisbane, Australia, and they have designed the kits in game. Today is the last chance to grab that kit in game by joining in to the category that you are supposed to be racing in according to your functional threshold power. We're taking a look at the D category right now as they head on over toward the counterclockwise for, I believe it is going to be 5 laps out there today for the women's race. And it's going to be pretty interesting how it's going to play out here amongst the women. We've got a pretty good contingent of D category riders I'm looking through for about 9 to 10 riders in the D category that are in the salmon kit that we're looking at right now. The C category looks like they've got a solid 20 plus or so. B category, I think, is the challenging the C category with number of riders out there. And then the A category, small today, but has some pretty heavy hitters amongst the women's category of racers, as I am seeing Team Canyon in there, ZCC, semi-professional esports Zwift team out there with Laura Van Regenwortel is out there, it looks like, signed up at least, as well as Team Turbo has shown up on the day. Good to see Team Turbo jumping in there as they dominated yesterday's first women's team points race in the Zwift beta race yesterday. So great job to Team Turbo yesterday. It looks like they're showing up for a good team time trial almost, with a few other riders out there in the women's category. Kate Verono actually is jumping in there, as well as Olivia Baril. I'm looking at Charlotte Backus is out there, and Rebecca Wyzak actually is going to also be in the race here. World champion, actually, ex-professional racer, jumping into the race out here for that A category. So there's going to be some speed and some power to be driving that A category as they're going to be taking off. It looks like in about 4 minutes from now. C category should be jumping out on course any minute now as well. Looking through some of the past results, it's been really interesting to watch how this series has developed as well. Seeing each and every week who is going to be able to take the win. It's been very close on some weeks, and some weeks it's been a walk away from with the A category here. On this specific course, because of the climb each lap, a lot of times the B and the A category do get a little bit of an advantage. It's not a long climb, but it's just enough that watts per kilogram really do tend to matter as they push the pace over the top of the little uphill grind that they have each lap, the little 2-tier into the finish line. They're just going through the lead-in at this point. We have 23K to go. As you can see, we should have some time gaps up on the screen in a little while once all of the categories do get out on course. Real quickly, if you're unfamiliar with handicap racing and how it works on Zwift specifically, in real life, the categories would all be racing against each other, and a lot of the categories would be based on results in real life, and they would be jumping into an elite category, A category, B category, well, Cat 1, Cat 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down here in the Americas at least, and they'd all be racing against each other, set off at different times to chase each other with the handicap. Here on Zwift, in the D, C, B, and A category, they're based on their functional threshold power, the assumed watts per kilogram somebody can hold for about 1 hour straight. The C category jumping out here, as you can see now, and it looks like we do have 30 riders in there, and they're going to be hammering away somewhere between 2.5 and 3.2 watts per kilogram for that category. So we were looking at Jude Williams there for Revo. Revo been showing up for a lot of the races that we've been broadcasting, and were very dominant yesterday as well in that as way to beta test race actually. So good to see them showing up day in and day out. They also did pretty well in the Team Fearless team competition this past Saturday. We're quite a force to be reckoned with in there as well. So always good to see Team Revo out there as we're looking at Jade Williams right now. 24.7 kilometers to go for this category. At the top of the screen, as you can see, almost a kilometer into the race, and 5:40. It looks like 6 minutes total racing down at this point. So you can see it's going to be about a 5-minute gap. It looks like between this C category and the D's up front, according to the screen and what we're seeing up here now. If you are hanging out in the broadcast, make sure to bring all of your chat to either Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Mixer. We are live on all the platforms over there on Zwift Live, and we'll be watching for your comments as well. The B category just jumping out on course here as well, it looks like, and we'll be seeing where those time gaps, how quickly they start coming down. In the B category, it does look like Team Cryogen is showing up with a good contingent of riders. Heather Main is out there, as well as Leonie Dijkstra. It's going to be Majori Shufflebottom is there out there as well. Team Cryogen, always one to watch out. Carissa Min is also out there, a very well-known, long-time member of the Zwift community, admin at some of the Facebook groups there. So good to see Carissa jumping in the B category for Team TFC right now. We're talking about Team Cryogen, and here they are. Coming out of the Netherlands, it will be Leonie Dijkstra that we're looking at right now. We also see Nina Dowling out there from Team AHDR. Good shout out to and representing Team AHDR, one of the teams and organizers that helped get this going for Chop Racing out on Zwift. We've been doing Chop Racing out on Zwift for about 2 years now. And it's good to see that HDR is still showing up with the support there. And they do actually help with some of the organization as well of the races and getting the time gaps and everything correct, as they're so familiar with the organization of the race. We do have the four-way here now we're looking at here, and it looks like the A category in the lower right-hand part of your screen right now, just getting out on course. 6 riders total, it looks like. And they're going to have to really be organized, essentially like a team time trial, as it's not a large category of riders. And now a Race 3R rider already falling off back a little bit. The pace can be very high right from the get-go. It does look like it's going to be C. Watts getting back on terms from Race 3R. And then Grobler's there from Team Rober. Backus is there as well. And it looks like Rebecca Wysack heading straight to the front there. Barrow also from Team Turbo. So 6 riders, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, all together here. And it's going to be essentially everybody on the front taking their poles in the order that they need to in order to chase this down, with a huge time gap to bring back at 8 minutes, I believe it is, for this A category. You're going to have their work cut out for them, that's for sure. Back in with the C's here now. It is going to be Cal here from Revo, sitting in about 6th place or so. As you can see, 3.9 watts per kilometer, 4.1. As we've always said, in these races for the Lamb Chop, it's going to be all about going over your category limit when you are at the front. Over threshold effort, pushing into what you can handle for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then coming back into the fold and back into that little bit under FTP tempo pace, and then back to the front anytime that you can. You do not want to waste any time. At every moment that there are matches to burn, you want to be pushing the pace to the front, because the other categories are going to be doing everything they can to burn all the matches they can to bring you back. Now, the interesting thing about the Chop, though, is the category might win, but within the category, when it comes down to the line, that's when the Chop actually happens. That's what the Chop is all about, is that it's time to race each other at that point. The category, if they know they're going to take the win, or even if they're not going to take the win, always there's a sprint at the line within the category against each other. So they're going to be working together until it doesn't make any sense any longer. Once that category knows that they're going to win outright, or they just know that the race is up as far as being able to chase Nate down any longer, they start playing games a little bit out on course. Now, at the bottom of the screen, you do see what the time gaps as well as distance gaps are between the categories at this point. The lead group currently is the D's out on course, as you can see, and they currently are, it looks like 5.7 into their 5.8 kilometers in. It does look like a magnitude here out of Canada on the front of that group. 402 back is going to be that C category, as you can see here, 3.6, 3.7 into their race here now. It is only a 1 minute difference here now at this point between this B category and the A's now. And now the B category with a pretty big advantage in numbers, but the reality of the kind of talent that we have in and amongst this A's is going to level the playing field a little bit. Backus on the front here at 4.8 watts per kilogram, you can see, and she's really been driving the pace for this category for quite a long time here at this point. We are looking at the back of the at the back of this A category. Rebecca Wyzak here for Team Torbo and Barrow there, sitting a little bit as Backus really pushes the pace. Now Kate Verona from the Zwift HQ actually. Women's community manager out there. Good to see Kate hammering away amongst the women out here. Always really involved in the community and great support of it all here. She's making her way to the front for just a moment here. 3.4 watts per kilogram coming from her right now. But Watts back to the front, it looks like now, as they do catch a D straggler who had fallen off the pace there from that D category. They are bringing back time perhaps a little bit here. But look at this B category still flying along, as they're going to head into the 2-tier here in just a moment. And the left-hand turn into the Volcano we were talking about, each lap has a little bit of an uphill grind. It hits the first 5 to 6% gradient. It's about a 15 to 20 second kick. And then there is a second kick up into the actual Volcano across the finish line. That's about a 10 seconds to the line. Another 5 to 6% gradient through there. So every lap, that's going to be the section where the most time can be made up. But it's also the sections where the categories may fall apart a little bit, as the riders who are a little bit stronger amongst the category are going to be looking to gain as much time as they possibly can through that section. You do see the fork in the road sign on the right-hand side just momentarily there, as they do bypass the right-hand turn that would take you over toward Ocean Boulevard and the original Watopia courses. Instead, they're heading back into CCW. We do see an aero power up here at the front end of this B category now. And here come some of the feathers. As we said, this is the section that they do want to make up as much time as they possibly can. And you should see a good amount of time drop off those time gaps here through this section at the bottom after they do head through it here. So it does look like Grandland here from Revo. Now 3.4 watts per kilogram or so, a little bit underneath their category limits here, sitting in. And 20.9 kilometers to go. 13 minutes in at this point. 5:43 back from that D category. So looking through here, though, real quickly, though, going to see where the D category is at. And they're on the other side here at this point, essentially heading, it looks like, back into the same exact section that the B category just went through. So almost a full lap ahead at this point of this B category, as they're about to head back into their lap finish banner. This will be where the sprint will take place at the end, and it's going to be 4 laps to go, I believe. Or is that 5 laps to go? Excuse me. 5 laps to go for this B category here at this point. So back in with the D's real quickly here. As you can see, they're chasing, well, at least trying to hold on to the gap as much as they possibly can. 5:26 back now, 5:28 back, as you can see. So the C category, though, they are the chasers of this group out on course. They're actually heading, interesting enough to see, downhill into a similar section. They'll be leaving the Volcano here in just a moment and coming back into the downhill 2-tier along the ocean here in just a moment. And they'll be on the same section, of course, just about as the D category in just a second. Now, as you can see here in this D category, though, this is going to be the section that they're going to struggle most likely the most amongst each other. As you do see A. Thomas here off the front there, Hughes there as well, Magnitude, Blackmore now, all trying to stick together here. Williams, they're trying to get back on terms with these 2 riders that are ahead, and it's already going to be about 4 riders trying to make something happen here. And it will be Blackmore making her way toward the front there with that aero power up, looking to just maybe find a little bit of speed or reprieve maybe as they head through this section of the course. And with the speeds here slowing down on this uphill section, Again, this will be the place where the other categories are going to gain the most up against these riders here. Now it looks like we get to now 2.8 watts per kilogram, making our way to the front now. Three riders trying to hang on to her wheel. Blackmore now up to 4.55 watts per kilogram real quickly. They're coming from E. Blackmore out of the UK. Hughes there out of New Zealand jumping on the wheel as well. And now it's going to be H. Williams from Revo now trying to just hang on. It's really strung out though at this point though amongst this D category. So not really too much working together here. It looks like it's just going to be all about holding every woman for herself out here, as already Rodriguez and G. Scott are off the back. It looks like Connolly there as well out of Canada, and Bagley all have fallen off immediately from the pace that's been set amongst this D category. So it's 257 back to the C's with a much bigger contingent of riders. They are heading back toward the 2-tier right now. As the driving of the pace here from Sonia Whiteman coming from Team PTZ, that's Team Portugal here. She's riding out of Great Britain, it looks like, but riding for the PTZ team, it looks like in game. Looks like taking over toward the front in the C category will be Team Revo now with Gray, Williams as well. Nielsen from the DBR team now coming out of Denmark. It looks like with Spillen and Baumeister there out of Germany all toward the front. So good contingent of riders here at the front of this race with 8 kilometers in. The gap is already down to 249. We are seeing within a minute between the A and the B category, but the C's now about to take on the climb here. They've got a really good gap though over the B category at this point. Now, they're about to, the B looks like the B category about to hit the same section of road almost though. So this is when things start to get interesting already as the C category now heads into the climb. Sonia Whitening now it looks like 3.8 watts per kilogram come from her. All the power-ups being thrown down. And you want to use them every single lap on this section. This is the section where it's all about holding that speed, getting as much advantage as you can, as we said before here. So 439 is the gap back to the to the B category between the lead. About 2 minutes though between the C's and the B's at this point. A's now are about to head into the same section as the B's, and this is what these great shots are all about here. As you do see here, here's the A category still being let out by Backus. Backus has been putting on a serious effort out here, just time trialing at the front consistently. 4.5 to 5 watts per kilogram now. The B category now just have just left this section of the course that the A's are heading into. So the A's already, if they look to the right just a little bit, down that section of the Volcano, if they looked over just ahead of them, they should be able to see those B's in the light blue kit in just a moment here. So the light gray white kits here of the A category chasing down those B's very quickly now. They're within a minute here at this point. And here's the B category. They're about to take the left-hand turn into this 2-tier in just a moment. And this A category, with the kind of pressure they can put on the pedals on up and over the top of the 2-tier, they may be bringing this back very quickly. And even though the B category has huge amount of numbers, they really have to start thinking about chopping pretty early at this point. Just letting go of any dead weight in this category, because this A category riders are absolutely flying out here. 43 kilometers per hour currently on the flat section. The B category, it looks like here as they pop over the top here now with those feather power-ups being led up by I. Jansen there from the KRT team. It looks like Granlund here from Revo just trying to hang on a mid-pack. This is 14th place here toward the front there. I'm seeing C. Scott there. It looks like Asperheim there from Z Sun, as well as we were saying Team Cryogen. It looks like Annabelle Cox there from the Brat Pack there is out there as well, making her way to the front. Solid efforts here. 4.0 plus watts per kilogram. 19 minutes in. They are 8 kilometers in, as you can see at the top of the screen right now. About 4 laps to go, I believe, in just a moment here. And this is the second tier of this climb that they're going to head through the lap finish banner. Just a moment. Here's the A category. Backus now 6 watts per kilogram at the front now. Full 2 watts per kilogram more, I believe, than what the B category was pushing on. Rebecca Weisig just hanging on in the back, it looks like, trying to find a wheel. Barrow from Turbo is also there as well. It looks like Rebecca, though, maybe unable to hang on. 3.4 watts per kilogram coming from her currently as Backus continues to push the pace now. She's got a 2-second gap over her compatriots now. Interesting to see. Grobler now going to have to push 6 watts per kilogram to get back on terms. There might be an early chop happening within the A category. This might not be in their interest whatsoever, though. Revo, Turbo already chopping here. Kate now trying to push on. It looks like grabbing the wheel very quickly. Gonna have to another kick though as they head through the second two tier, and already the A category with some infighting. Not too interested in working together in serious team time trial. This is just already a race within this category. 5 laps to go. Excuse me, 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go here, I believe, out on course for this A category. Watts now getting back on terms. Rebecca Weisick trying to find a wheel, but she's 2 seconds off the back at this point. 166 beats per minute currently coming for Rebecca Weisick out of Australia. Now, 2-second gap up to Backus. She's not waiting up for any, but Grobler from Revo now trying to close things down, as it looks like. Now she bumps up to 4 watts per kilogram. And Kate there grabs the wheel of the Revo rider. Barrow, they're just following along as she's allowing her Team Turbo rider going off the front there. Maybe not even just following, as I don't know if anybody can respond to Backus's effort here at this point, but it was a serious effort as they head out into this next section of flat course as they go past the right-hand turn that would take you over to Watopia forward. But it is, as we can see at the bottom here, down to 45 seconds, and they are almost within sight, the B category and A category, within sight of each other almost at this point. Now back in with the C's, though, as we are seeing here, it looks like just on the other side of the Volcano. It is about a minute and a half. They are leaving they're actually leaving the Volcano almost a full lap, actually, ahead of the other 2 categories at this point. 150 back from that lead group. The D category, as we said earlier, though, as they head into their 2 tier, this is the 3 riders that are chasing down Thomas. Now, Thomas will most likely be removed from the results. I believe Thomas is over category limits, but off the front there, solid efforts. Perhaps just a community rider that has jumped in and checking out what the chop racing is all about out on Zwift here today. But Hughes here, I believe within the limits there. H. Hughes now 1.8 watts per kilogram on the front. 3 riders together here. Connolly now trying to bring things back here. 25 seconds back as they head through their 2-tier second for, I believe, the 3rd time out here today. Take a quick look over at ZwiftPower.com. And now, if you're unfamiliar with ZwiftPower.com, it is where all of the community races are followed and tracked out on Zwift, so make sure to head on over there to check out what's happening within these races. It does look like we have 2 of the riders here that are signed up over on ZwiftPower.com and sharing their information. If you haven't done so already and you want to be in the results and you're wondering why you may not be in the results after a race over at ZwiftPower.com, you do have to go to your Zwift profile and connect that third-party app. So for those of you who are following along over there, that may be why you might not see some of the riders out there, but it will be, it looks like, Magnitude here out of Canada, 1.4, 1.5 on the front. Hughes there as well. It looks like H. Williams just trying to get back on terms, 2 seconds back at this point, but Thomas here now, I believe, off the front, and 3.1 watts per kilogram steady, though, from Thomas, so I believe unable to maybe have a result out there today. But H.P. Williams, though, in here for Team Revo. 54 races total for Williams, trying to jump back on terms with Magnitude. 1 second back here. She's a level 34 Zwifter. And Williams for that Team Revo here, working well together with these other 2 riders. Actually, 3 riders here as Blackmore jumped back on turns. Connolly still 40 seconds back here with Rodriguez and G. Scott still trying to get back on terms. But this is your lead group here, holding on to a steady gap and hovering right around that 130. Now it's dropped. A quick 10 seconds just came off there with that C category as they head through for 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go. 12 kilometers or so to go to the finish line. 24 minutes in. They've 1 minute up at this point. They'll be leaving the Volcano in just a second here and taking that left-hand turn into that same section. Here is the, it looks like back end of that C category. A few riders that have fallen off. This is the D's there just ahead, as you can see, about a 1 minute and 10. C category here now. This is, there'll be a left-hand turn out of the Volcano, and this will be the same section, of course, that we said earlier. It's all about getting them within sight and making that chase. Now, the A's and the B's, they've got a lot of work cut out for them still at this point. I mean, look at this time gap. 2:47. Still back to the B category to the D's. Still a solid minute 47 at this point with only about 3 laps to go at this point. So here they come through the 2-tier. They'll be heading into that same section in just a moment that we just saw the C category leave. But a pretty good amount of time still to make up. Now the C category, though, 59 seconds back. They're within a minute of the D's now at this point, and solid push here coming from the C's. They've really kept things all together. Still plenty of riders in here. Not too much of a chop happening. Now the B category, they can't say the same though, as we do see Annabelle Cox here from the BRT coming on through on that lap banner, and it's already starting to split up within the B category because I do believe they are seeing that these A's are on the chase, all within the same Volcano section. As you can see, out on course here. Grobler to the front here. Backus, who has put in pretty much the bulk of the work, I think, amongst this A category, so are starting to back off a little bit, as you cannot, maybe being the sacrifice for the category out here today. But she's put out a solid, from what I can see here. Charlotte Watts out there, 4.1 watts per kilogram. Kate Verona there, 3.7. Olivia Barrow there, also about 4.3 watts per kilogram. Charlotte Backus, 4.3 watts per kilogram come from her so far. So it is going to be the brunt of the work here being done by Team Turbo with Olivia Barrow there at a 4.3 watts per kilogram, and then it's going to be Backus there, who's put out also a solid 4.3 watts per kilogram. So the two of those riders, they're really matching each other to drive the pace at the front end of this A category. So in the B category, though, big shout out to the Annabelle Cox, who's put out a solid 3.7 watts per kilogram so far. Really putting out the brunt of the work for this B category so far. And this is the rider right here, 3.2, 3.7, coming out of Australia here, hammering away toward the front end of this race here for B category to bring back as many seconds as they possibly can. 2:13. They still have been holding on to that 45-second gap, and that most likely has to do with the number of riders that they do have here. They've got the snowball effect in their favor. They got to bring back the time, though, still here, 2:13. They brought about 30 seconds here within this lap here. 51 seconds is the difference between the C and the D category, coming down pretty quickly at this point as they're heading into that downhill 2-tier along the ocean here in just a moment, with Watopia Mountain off in the distance there, it looks like. And here's that D category about to head into the uphill in just a second. Just around the corner, though, there is the C's as they're about to head downhill. You can see behind the D category, the downhill that they just came down here, they're about to be within sight. Now the C's, I think, get a little bit anxious as they do see the D's just ahead of here, and it's 36 seconds up here. Huckabee now taking over at the front now. They're about to make this chop, and I believe the catch is going to be made on the uphill with 2 laps to go. So it will be the C's and the D's all together, I think, in just a moment, as the numbers are in their favor, both in watts per kilogram as well as in number of riders now. Just ahead, we should be seeing the Salmon Kids here around the bend. D category trying to hold on at this point. Megan 2 on the front there, 2.4 now. It's 140 beats per minute, though. Keeping pretty calm on the heart rate here. It looks like Williams now at 2.1 sitting in. Going to have to drive the pace. We're going to see some power-ups most likely in just a second to try and hold off this C category, but it looks like a little bit too late. A couple of D category riders here just being caught, but they're the ones that are off the back, I believe, of this main D's right now. So just a couple that have been caught here just a moment ago. There's Rodriguez and Connolly here, I think, that are being caught by the C category. Now back in with the D's, there are a couple of power-ups being popped here, and just behind them we will see that C category coming on pretty quickly here. Magnitude leading things out, trying to hold on as much as they possibly can. 29 seconds actually going out, but this should be shut down pretty quickly, and with 2 laps to go, I believe they will be caught. Back in with the C's here. Here's the effort from them. Huckabee now pushing 3.6. Here come the feather power-ups now. Johnson from the Flyers there, making their way to the front. Strange there from Team Revo. Williams also from Revo, taking over toward the front here, it looks like. Jennifer Baker's out there from Revo. Jude Williams, Carla Williams, Lala Overmo there, coming out of Norway, also Revo. Huge contingent of Revo riders there, actually. Sarah Strange is out there as well. Debbie Morgan, looks like a huge contingent, actually, of Revo riders. Tina Voin Frankenheim from the KISS Racing team is also out there solo amongst them. Bubble Gold there is there from the HDR team, loving the in-game names a lot of times that they do throw in there. And Team Revo, it looks like, taking over in this race, about to make the official catch there. There is a couple of stragglers. It looks like Magnitude here saying, forget it, I'm going off the front. The C's are about to catch us here. Last ditch effort here to the lap banner, but there's that C category. Look at all of the Tron bikes behind there with 2 laps to go. C category coming on through. 6th place currently here with Huckabee now, as we see the number switch over to 2 laps, and the D category going to be caught almost completely outright. One rider off the front here just trying to hold on. 2.6 watts per kilo come from Magnitude. Magnitude's going to have to bump it up just a little bit in speed as she does get caught to try and stick in amongst this C category. Now, she may be able to still take a sprint if she sits in and rests up as much. Again, these categories are close enough in ability that sometimes you do see a C or a D category able to sprint it out and still take a win. A's and the B's, though, if they do make a catch, maybe amongst them to take the win if they do make the catch. But a lot of times between the C's and the D's, their ability level in a sprint close enough to still get a win if you do sit in amongst the category that's got a higher FTP. The B's and the A's, though, at this point, almost within a minute for the B's, as you see them just heading through their 2 laps to go. We saw this just a moment ago, so they're very close to making the catch here, and it's going to be up to the A's, I think, to close things down with only 2 laps to go. Are they fading is the question here, as I am seeing the A category now just heading into this 2-tier section here now, as the B category does leave it. So it's all getting into about the same section of the course, and this is when things get very interesting in the chop, because this is whenever whoever's got a couple of matches left, they start to use them to hold on to each and every second they possibly can to get to the line. And this is going to be all about sacrificing this B category, I think, because I believe they will make the catch to that lead group, but it's going to be about holding off the A category. Now, the A category do not have power and numbers today. They've got power and numbers in the raw ability, wattage that they can throw down, but at a certain point, Watts, Backus, you know, the Grobler, they've been putting in so much work. They're going to have to find some sort of extra power in the legs here. They're going to have to find some. Eventually, the matches just run out, and the match book is out and burned up at a certain point. And within the B category, they've got so many riders. There may be a few riders that have been sitting in, waiting for this moment to hold on to any kind of a time gap as they possibly can. And they're able to get a lot more reprieve because of the power numbers. A few riders here, 4 or 5 riders, might be sitting in, waiting for these final 2 laps and just start driving the pace to hold off the A category. You can already see the A category here, the time gap going out a little bit. This may be a favorite for the B's here to take down the win. Let us know what you think. Who's going to make the catch here? You know, is it going to be just the B category? Is the C category going to be able to hold off? We've got 2 laps to go, and there's still 51 seconds here between the B's and the C's. Now, we may see this time gap hold for a little while amongst this C category and the B category until we hit that 2-tier for the second to last time. We are seeing the speeds here between the riders about 36 kilometers per hour currently for that C category. I believe the B category bumping it up about 40 or so. So going to be a difficult day, I think, for the C's to hold off the kind of speeds that we're seeing from this B categories. They're super motivated to hold off the A's and make the chase to the C's. It looks like the C's are doing a good job. They're going to have about a lap and a half to go. We are seeing Huckabee now making her way to the front now. 3.1 watts per kilogram coming from her. 5.8 kilometers to the finish line. 33 minutes in to this race. Now, we are about to jump into, after this race, just so everybody knows, there are 2 races today. About 2 races in the Europe Lamb Chop. And then there's also an America's race later today. If you are wanting to jump into the last and final opportunity to grab, in this series at least, this 6-race series, there is a European edition that you're watching right now of the women's only race. In about 10 minutes, we're going to be starting the D category for the open race that anybody can join. And that is going to be on 2 laps of the TikTok course. That's going to be crazy fast and furious. But then there's also an America's race that is 7 p.m. Eastern time, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for the women's only and open race respectively. So you do have an opportunity to jump into those races later tonight if you are looking to still grab a Black Sheep cycling kit, as well as get an amazing FTP workout out there amongst your categories. So make sure to jump in there, and we'll see. We will not be broadcasting the America's race though later tonight, but there's still an opportunity to do some lamb chop racing though tonight for that America's. Or if you do have time to jump on, it's 9 minutes to start of the D's, and with the time gaps, you still got about, if you're an A category rider, about 20 minutes to jump onto your bike and be a part of this broadcasted race as well. Looking at the C category, though, this is going to be one lap to go in just a moment here as they head into their second last time through the two-tier into the Volcano. Now it's going to be Jay Baker from Revo and Williams. Revo taking over at the front here with Jay Clark and Walsh there out of Ireland. Johnson from the G Friars now. That's a name we've seen toward the front quite a bit. Sarah Strange from Revo now taking over on the left-hand side. And the B category about to hit that same section of course here. It's within 45 seconds, actually. Not a lot of time's been brought back here. C category might be the favorites out here today. I believe the A category might not have the wattage and the speed or the numbers in the bodies that are on course for them. Bau's going to have to really put out an effort here. This is going to be all about these last two climbs, I think. It's going to have to be all in over the top of these two tiers here. Kate Verona's not taking over at the front, but it's 3.2, 3.8 watts per kilogram. Eventually, it's just too much. I think they've been over threshold for too long trying to bring this back, and not enough people to sit in on. Grober now 3.9. You see that the differences in the watts per kilogram are not very much at this point, and that is most likely because this B category has had so many riders to burn matches at the front, to really put in the effort at the front over category limits. The rest of them be able to sit in at the tempo pace, and now they can start using those extra matches, those extra energy that's been reserved throughout the race out here today. Annabelle Cox now making her way to the front here. BRT Hellcats with one lap to go. I think it is going to be a B favorites race, but they're going to have to close down 40 seconds with this one lap to go here. The C category already leaving right here this same section of course. They're outside of the Volcano. They've got the gap here still. They're going to have to put everything to the line. This is going to come right down to a sprint most likely between the C category and the B category now. There's an arrow power up. Very smart use of an arrow power actually as they come downhill, as it's going to be Walsh on the front here. Right behind it's going to be Nielsen, I believe, from the BRT team, using that arrow power up, or perhaps Spillane, as they're going to head into the Volcano for this left-hand turn in just a moment, as it is the B category chasing them down, leaving the Volcano almost within sights here at this point, within 30 seconds now. Bassett here from Revo now taking over at the front, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Look at the C category now, almost matching here at this point. As you can see, Walsh here, 3.4, heading toward the front. 3.2 kilometers to go, within half a kilometer between the B's and the C's now. A category now, just heading through. They're bringing it back. That's within a minute here at this point of the B category, but they've really got to put everything in line. Backus now, it looks like, saying, come on, girls, let's go. Pushing to the front. Team Turbo taking over. The communication from the Watts here is that we have not given up just yet. They're almost within sights, but with 3.9 kilometers to go, 3.2 for the B category. They're almost within sight here. It's going to come right to the line between each of them, but I believe it's going to be the C's and the B's, a battle between them. Let's start hearing from you over at the chats here. Who do you think is going to take the win out here today? Will the C's be able to hold off the B category today? I'm going to have to say that I'm going to favor this B category out here today. Let me know what you think. I'm looking at the chats over on YouTube as well as Facebook. I'd like to hear the shout-outs on your predictions for who's going to hold on out there today. Clive Kin saying Revo doing a great job out there today. A few others. A's definitely out. We're hearing from Steve. C's look almost as fast as the B's from Steve Games. So we're hearing a couple of predictions here coming from chat over at YouTube. And loving the predictions. Let us know what you think is going to happen between this C and the B category. I have to say that I believe you may be right. This A's may be out of it. They're about to make a catch on the D category, but it's just maybe a little bit too little too late. Not quite enough bodies out there in those A's, but still putting a solid effort. Actually, look at this kick though from Barrow. Barrow's not giving up. She's up and out of the saddle. 5.8 watts per kilogram. Grobler looking to chase it down. They've been chilling out for about a lap or two at this point, but here comes the afterburners in the A category, pushing on at this point, and Barrel Hero saying it's chop time. We cannot hold off any longer. It is go time, and Revo and Turbo taking over. Watts here from Race 3 are just jumping on the back end of this group here, and it's all mixed together now. There's going to be a little bit of a surge in the speed here. Kate now backing off in the front, though, as you can see. And now Grobler taking over at the front here again. C category now coming on through. This is the last section of the course, though. Downhill, couple of S turns now. B category heading into that same section here. It's gonna be all about the two-tier into the Volcano for the final time. The C category, though, they've done a great job. They're into the final stretch here at this point. I'm not sure it's gonna come back. It's been hold on to 35 seconds. B category, this is last ditch effort. KRT on the front with late now at this point. 4.1 watts per kilogram. They gotta sacrifice. It's got to be everything they have to the line. Not care about the chop. You got to care about the category. It's no longer it's no longer about the selfish chop, because it's not going to happen if you do not push at this point. Holmes from Z-Sun on the back now, coming on through with some speed. Here comes an arrow power from one of the ladies on the right-hand side now. Bassett here now. They're in the same section of course now. Here's the C category, as you can see, trying to hold off. Here's the left-hand turn into the two-tier. The B category pushing at the front now. Here comes Holmes. Z-Sun now, Dowley now, as you can see, 1.2 kilometers to go. They're within 1 kilometer here, 867 meters to the line. The two tiers can be all about the kick to the top now. And will the B category be able to hold the speed? They may not be able to do it here. The left-hand turn in just a moment. It's just too long. Well, 300 meters. I don't want to call it just yet, but it looks like the C category is going to be able to make it happen here. Revo now, Williams coming out of Australia, trying to kick. Here comes some, look at all the feather power-ups. It's going to be about this category. They think the C category have done it now. Morgan here from Revo now, 4.6 at the front, leading out Bubble Girl, it looks like now. Walsh now making her way to the wheel now. Johnson from the Flyers out of the US of A, trying to grab on the wheel. Morgan still leading it out, 4.5, making it a crazy effort. This is the lead-out train now. Look at how it's strung out. Every rider just looking for a wheel. Who's going to have the last kick? B categories here, almost within sight there, but not going to make it happen. It's going to be a C category win. Eldred from Revo now coming through, 2.8, but Morgan pushes through, it looks like. No, it's actually going to be, I believe, Roman Hoffman now to the front. No, Eldred to the front. Walsh, 5.6 watts per kilogram come from Walsh. Nielsen from DBR. It looks like it's going to be Nielsen. I believe Danish bike riders across the line. Nielsen takes to win the C category. Amazing job of that C category. Just barely holding off this B category. Looks like the Bs, though, with a solid sprint to the line here as well. C. Scott, I believe, up ahead for V. Vixen. Just behind. Looks like they were able to just barely hold off, though, this B category. About 18 seconds behind, I think, is what the difference. Solid efforts there all around. We're going to get the results up here in just a moment, the official results, and it looks like as we are heading on over to the Lamb Chop TikTok now. Now, this is the open race that we're heading over to in just a second. We'll get into that video here in just a moment here. I think we're going to get results in a moment here for this women's only race, and that's what we were just watching. And here we go. And it was the C category, and it is the Danish bike riders that do take the win in that C category, as the chop went down just ahead of Sonia Whiteman from PTZ and Debbie Morgan from Revo. No, I'm loving the little. We've got Revo Cookie Monsters, Revo Lowcast. I love all of the Revo little abbreviations that they put on the back end. Debbie Morgan, nice job with third place there. Emma Walsh there from Ireland. Natasha Williams, Revo Cookie Monsters out there. Bubble Girl coming on through out of Australia from Team AHDR. Shout out to AHDR showing up on the day. SoCal for Revo there, out there for the C category in 7th place. Jude Williams, 8th. Jennifer Baker for the Revo Road Runners. And then it's going to be Sarah Strange. Revo. Putting in the effort. Essentially a Revo team time trial. But DBR takes advantage of the draft and kicks on through with Malene Rahog Nielsen for DBR. On over to the other side of Watopia. We're on a little bit of a little flatter course, I would say. TikTok, though, comes on through the Ocean Boulevard as well with a couple of climbs, and it's going to be 2 laps of the TikTok. This is the open race in the Lamb Chop Race Series. Race number 6 of this open category, so anybody can jump into. We just watched the women's only race. You can see the time gaps, 5, 8, and 11 respectively, between C, B, and A to the D category. There's the watts per kilogram you need to have for your functional threshold power as well for the category that you should be within. If you're just jumping in the broadcast, my name is Nathan Guerra. I'm going to be your commentator for this next race in the Lamb Chop race series. For the TikTok out here, the D category is out on course, as you can see. As they jump out there, it is going to be 2.5 to 3.2 watts per kilogram that these riders should, or excuse me, 0 to 2.5 watts per kilogram for this D category. C category will be 2.5 to 3.2. For the B category, 3.2 to 4.0, and then 4.0 to 5.0 plus for that A category. So big time gaps out here. We did see the A's on a similar course, able to close things down pretty quickly last week. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up playing out here, though. Got some heavy hitters amongst them. Looking on through some of the chat, and loving everybody wave. And Zwift is on, and everybody waving. How's it going, Zwift, over at the YouTube channel? Loving the chatter coming on through, and Clive Kin cheering on the C's as well. Loving it. Loving all the chat that's coming on through as well. Zwift Live over at the chat over as well on Facebook. We're watching all the chats just so you guys know. And any predictions early on are always a lot of fun. So if you want to give us any predictions early on, as we're looking at ZwiftPower.com and the kind of talent that's showing up, we've got some serious A category riders. You know, the last couple of weeks, every category just about has had a pretty good job at taking a win out there. Let us know who you think is going to win out there. Early predictions always a little bit more fun, in my opinion, because you know, it's a little bit riskier when it comes to making the predictions at this point, rather than you know, when you can already see how things have worked out, though. So D category out on course here. They do get a really big time gap out there for sure. And looking back at some of the races, though, that we have had, I want to really quickly here give a shout out to each of the categories and how they have performed week in and week out, actually. Looking through last week, when we were out, I believe it was on, real quickly here, I believe we were out on Tempest Fugit, and it was the A category, actually, with yesterday's most aggressive rider, actually, I would say, in the DBR Hino Cup, and that was Christopher McGlinchey, able to take the win last week for the A category. So A category last week, taking it down on a flatter course. It was 2 laps of the Tempest Fugit out there. Now today, going to be a little bit different race with a little bit more climbing out there for the TikTok, because TikTok does head down into Ocean Boulevard. There's a little bit of a climb out of Ocean Boulevard, actually. So each lap. You also do have the climb into Santa Sequoias. Now, they take a left-hand turn out of Santa Sequoias, not through the actual KOM. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up playing out as each lap. There's a little bit more climbing, which may be to the advantage, actually, of the A category as well. With 11-minute difference, though, they got a lot of time to make up, so we'll see how that ends up playing out here. Loving the chatter, though, about Bubble Girl. Wins the award for the name that was most fun to listen to. Thanks a lot, Zwift Live. And the in-game names, always tons of fun out here when the riders do put in a little bit of extra effort into them, for sure. Looking through some of the predictions here, and it looks like A category perhaps, with a few of the chatters out here, letting us know that perhaps the A category, as we did see something similar last week, they may have the advantage. We'll have to wait and see. Looking through the riders signed up, huge amount of A category riders, actually, as 6 minutes to go to the start of their race. We're seeing 31 riders in the pens already. I think that's going to at least double by the start of the race in this A category. I am seeing it is going to be Zwift Team Poland. E-Racing is out there with a lot of top-tier riders. We're seeing Christopher McGlinchey, last week's winner, also out there now, it looks like, for Vitus Pro Cycling. In Real Life Pro, jumping in and amongst the racers out here. Vikings are out there as well with Brake Bergen, Daniel Leierbakken, as well as Gitau Farup. They had a solid race yesterday in the DBR Hino race series as well, so be watching out for them. Team ODZ is out there. Watch out for Eric Hart. Very strong rider, actually. He is a top ranked Zwift rider, actually, with 219 points. I think top 100, maybe top somewhere in there. Brig Bergen, though, also with 158 ranking over on ZwiftPower.com. Team Cryogen's jumping in there. It looks like Callus is out there, new esports team that broke off from the KISS Racing team with Tom O'Kaland. It looks like old Christian Fagli and then Christian Oftedal, three of the stronger riders that we've ever seen out on Zwift. Gavin Richardson for Innovation, Richard Udwin as well. So Innovation's jumping out there. Fusion is out there, it looks like, with Simon Nielsen, one of the strongest riders we've ever seen on Zwift, currently ranked in the top 100 as well. Brian Hodges for Evoke. Draft is jumping in there with Jim McQuaid. Gavin Dempster, the winner a couple of years back at the London Live event, has jumped in there. So top tier rider here, Gavin Dempster. Watching out for him. Canyon Shram is, or it's not Canyon Shram, excuse me, Canyon ZCC with Stevie Young and James Phillips, the current reigning UK national champion of Zwift, with James Phillips out there as well. Big power jumping into the race here. So just, going through the list here, this is a pretty good list of who's who amongst the A category racers. So now we may not have the same numbers, though, as we saw last week in the Tempest Fugit, though, as far as the A category goes, as the breadth of riders. We've got some heavy hitters, but we maybe not the same number of them. As I'm not seeing Team Experimental, I don't think, out there in the same amount of riders. I did see Casey Shum out there last week giving some solid advice to the riders out there. But Team Experimental does have Michael Podsline, though, who is the top 100 A-plus rider. Be watching out for him. Now, watching through, it looks like in the D category right now, the C's have just jumped out on course. From as you can see, they are currently just heading into their first lap of the TikTok here through the Tempest Fugit now. You're going to head through this flatter section of the course, and then they head on over through the Oasis, right-hand turn to climb to the split-off in San Sequoias over to Ocean Boulevard. It'll be a left-hand turn. You do go past Watopia Mountain, the bottom flats of Watopia Mountain, but then a right-hand turn down over toward the old-school Jarvis Tree, a right-hand turn through Ocean Boulevard, then, and then you climb out, and then a right-hand turn back on over to Tempest Fugit area of the of Zwifts on the expansion. So it's a couple of climbs, two main sections where some splits may happen amongst the categories. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out through those sections and whether or not the riders are able to hold on to their category through those sections. We are looking at Gary Cordry here from Strava Art. Good to see him out there. Now, he was able to take a win in the C category a few weeks back. Watch out for him in the sprint if the C category is able to hang on to their gap. We are looking at the B category now as they jump out on course. It is going to be C Coke from Vision here, as well as Poynton from the Dirt Racing now. It's going to be Mario Montica, Guthrie now, as we try to get to the front end of this B category. Guthrie here now, CLS now, to the front, 250 watts. Very fast starts. They need to get the speed up immediately. Every last second is going to count, as we have seen over and over again in this Chop series. We've seen it come right down to the line with the A category sometime catching in the final 100 meters and coming flying by the C in the B category. So be interesting to see how it ends up playing out here. 35 kilometers to go. Going to be a long race as they are hammering away right now in this B category, most likely up into 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. So a little bit under an hour of racing is what we'll most likely see. D categories, you can see, heading through this Oasis section now. They are 8:48 into their race. It was an 8-minute gap back to that B category. It will be about another 2 minutes to the start of the A category out there today. Let's give some shout outs to this D category and the riders that have jumped into the race here. There are so many riders in this race. There's actually 2 pages of riders over on ZwiftPower.com. So plenty of riders. In and amongst the D category, though, it is going to be mainly unattached or solo riders. Good to see Martin Jordvik jumping out there from Team SZ. I am seeing him signed up. Let me see if I do see him in the right. And he is out there. The race organizer for Team SZ as well as the team captain out there. So Martin Jordvik, huge asset to the community. He's been absolutely amazing in the way that they've scheduled races and group rides for Team SC. One of the larger Facebook groups, actually, Team Sweden. Good to see him out there, Martin. As always, big supporter of the broadcast for years now. So good to see him jumping in the D category, see what kind of power he can put down and get some camera time at the front there, maybe as he heads to the front about 2.1 watts per kilogram. Let's get a shout out and chat to Team SC and Martin, as they have put in races for years and rides for years to grow one of the bigger teams out on course here. And at every category level is what's always also cool to see about that team. D's, C's, B's, and A's always have a good contingent of Team SC riders. So, Timothy Rugg, great question. How are Zwift race rankings determined? Right now, it is a third party determination, actually, over at ZwiftPower.com. So it is not official within Zwift. As the sport develops, I would guess that we will see rankings that are more official down the line. But right now, it's within the community organizers, and Zwift Power rankings are the ones I'm referring to right now, based on who shows up to the races. It is similar to what we have in America, from what I'm familiar with racing, with a USA Cycling racing license. The quality of field gives a certain amount of points or negative points to the result that you do get. So quality of field matters for those Zwift rankings, and how you end up finishing then changes things up within ZwiftPower.com. So hope that makes sense, Timothy. Thanks a lot for the question, though, over at the Facebook broadcast. So D category we're looking at here. We'll get time gaps up in just a moment here. Back in with the C's, we can see where everybody's at out on course. This is going to be heading through the Oasis that the D category just left. Getting for some pretty good distance here, though, still between them. 3 kilometers now, as you can see, as there's 5.1 kilometers to go into their race for this C category. D category, as you can see, 8.86. So pretty good amount of distance here still between them. B category now, 4.2 into their race. So for this here, we can look in 5.2. So only a kilometer difference here between them. It's always interesting to see how big of a difference there is between each one of the categories here, but really speed is what it's all about. Looking here at the A categories, they start out here. They're doing 51 kilometers per hour. They are 1.36. Pretty big gap here between them, 3 kilometers or so. So the closest time gap at this point is going to be the C. As you can see, here's the C category, as Cordry now makes his way to one of the stronger riders in the C category, making their way to the front. In the B category now, only 1 kilometer difference between them on the course here. So looking through Matt Wheeler, good to see Matt out on. I saw you signed up, Matt Wheeler, in the race out here. Able to chat in the Zwift Live Facebook here while he pushes on. Matt Wheeler maybe needs to make his way to the front and put a little bit of an effort in. Going to be very difficult, though, at the front end of the A categories. They do jump out on course. I mean, the speeds are so incredibly high. Gavin Dempster at the front here, 5.5 watts per kilogram, 5.7. Just hanging on early on in this race here can be a difficult time. McQuaid now to the front. Kalen now for Callis, the new esports team. Draft now, though, taking over at the front end of this race. At the back, it's Yates just trying to hang. Gavin Richardson from Innovation already off the back here. Team Poland also with, it looks like, Kukurtsky now off the back as well. So riders already taking the bite in the dust off the back here, unable to hold on to the pace being set by some of the top tier riders in this A category. Revel now to the front now, 4.5 watts per kilogram. Power-ups being blown already now, as we do see some arrows now as well as feather power-ups. Revel now taking over 3.2. Dempster here for Team Draft, 5.2 watts per kilogram at the front now, 165 beats per minute coming from Gavin Dempster. Flying along at 49 kilometers per hour, though, is the current effort there coming from them. Now, on the front of the D category, we've got a little bit of a time gap, actually. Belmont from Peru is off the front. I think maybe over category, so we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be Prop in the D category, though, as they head through the Oasis town here. M Prop, Nielsen, also coming out of Norway there. Jortvik now toward the front there as well. They're hammering along at 41 kilometers per hour, about 10 kilometer per hour difference between the riders. Here is the the time gaps now: 3:37, 6:28, and 9:57. Total race distance is 36 kilometers that they have to close. They have to close down those time gaps out here on course. And Matthew Wheeler saying no TV time from my couch, loving it as he comes on through the broadcast chat here. Always good to see you, Matt Wheeler, in the broadcast as well as out on the out in the races here. So looking through some of the chat as well over on YouTube. Good to see everybody hanging out. We will not. Randy Jordan, thanks a lot for the question. He says, will you guys broadcast the race later tonight, 7:45 EST? There's no broadcast, sadly, of the Americas, but you can still get a chance. The main thing, I would look at for that is being able to jump in and grab the Black Sheep kit. For those of you that are familiar with Black Sheep Cycling, they are the ones who designed the kits that you're seeing in-game. The D category here with the salmon kit at the bottom of the screen. You can see each one of the kits that you can get as you jump into your category there. The C category with the black and the light blue there with the B's and the gray-white for the A's. So that will be 7 p.m. for women's only Eastern time, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for the open category. So still an opportunity to grab those kits and jump into the race now. Well, later today. Cryogen with some serious firepower, and they do have some serious firepower out there today. I think they're looking for a win. They've been out here week in and week out trying to make something happen. Unable to, though, I think, grab too many wins. Last week, we did see them with Tony Revel, though. Not Kev Hacker out there with the top spot there for the A category. C category was right on the heels of that A category last week, almost with the exact same time. It's always the coolest thing to see in the lamb chop racing is when all the categories come to the line together. And within the top 20, we see A's, B's, and C category riders all within the top 20 last week. Ivar Burgett there for the Dirt team took first place in the B category and 11th place overall, only 2 seconds back from Christopher McGlinchey, who took the win for that A category. The C category, only 3 places out from that, with 14th place. First place was Craig Ullman for Team Cryogen and Thomas Reinecke there for the Roo Riders last week in that C category. So that's what it's all about. We'll see if we have a similar situation where it comes right to the line. For some reason, these flatter courses, it seems like at least this Tempest Fugit last week made things really, really interesting. I mean, it really came right down to those last few meters. You can see only a few seconds separating the C and the B and the A category. We'll see if they can make that happen again. They're going to have to drive the pace. Everything you got, though, within these categories here, as we do see Cordery now making the way to the front there. 26 kilometers go about halfway through this first lap. 1 of 2 out on the TikTok course now. So absolutely killing it here, it looks like, with the C category with Weger as well as Smith. Kuko is there as well. It looks like it's Graham there to the front for Team VS right now. Back in with the Bs now. Let's see where they're at out on course. The difference still a solid 3 minutes between them, almost 2 kilometers as they head through these last few sections of the first lap on TikTok for the Tempest Fugit. They're going to head into the climb here. Here come the C category efforts that really matter, as 4.4 watts per kilogram here coming from Cordery. Strava Art making his way to the front again now. Jim Nelson is there for ASC, it looks like, on the right-hand side. 36th place now. Cordery now, one of the stronger riders we said, was able to take a win a few weeks back here in this racing series. Actually, let's take a quick look here and see what kind of results here Cordery has had in the past, as he has definitely been one to watch out for in the C category, always showing up very strong. And the rider here now, at 4.2 watts per kilogram, just trying to hang on, though. Now, this section, of course, can be really tricky. This, and as you leave this section, I've found it very difficult to hang on to wheels through this section. It can be one of the more dangerous sections for anybody that is not attentive. and able to really grab a wheel. And I've heard a couple of riders say that perhaps the draft through this section can be more difficult to hang on to for some reason. So Cordry here looks like having to push 3-4 watts per kilometer just to grab onto a wheel. And look at the gaps start to form. This is what we were talking about. This C category here needs to keep it together now at this point. You don't want to drop off too many this early on. And up ahead now, 20th place now, Cordry, as we said, strong rider, Bunting. Now Davies here now at the front, though, 8 watts per kilogram, driving the pace here. This is a very smart move here coming from Davies. This is where you want to keep as much speed as you possibly can. Get into a little bit of an aero tuck, drive to 8 watts per kilogram for a moment there. Graham there, 1 second back now. Blake now as well. Schorgenheimer for Rue riders now. It looks like the German rider Stahlberg is there, 3 seconds back, though. This C category now, really starting to fall apart pretty early on. They got to keep the speed here. There might be a breakaway here, about 10 riders. 2 seconds back to be Sumner. There's plenty of riders, though, to chase this back down, I think. I think the C category, though, is going to get a little bit of impetus there, a little bit of a motivation from this push. And the speeds are very, very high now. Davies now pushing the pace here on this section of the course here. Looking at Watopia Mountain on the left-hand side as they're going to go through the foothills of Watopia Mountain. Right-hand turn onto Ocean Boulevard. Back into B category, though. Here come the power-ups as they head into their San Sequoias left-hand turn into Ocean Boulevard. Mario Montoya on the front for BZR. It's going to be Guthrie from CLS now, making his way to the front. Kroll is out there for Fusion Development now. One of the stronger riders we've seen in the Fusion ECT series that was recently going on through the months of October and November. So watch out for Kroll to push on for this B category. One, maybe a favorite, as I believe I've commentated on a couple of sprints for Kroll out there, actually, coming out of Denmark here. Stensrud now, dirt, making his way to the front. One rider to be watching out for, also one who's had some solid results in the past here. So watch out for the dirt rider here coming out of the US of A. At 149 beats per minute, though, Guthrie keeping it chill, it looks like. 271. As they're going to take a left-hand turn in just a moment. This is going to be the high-speed section. We'll see if they can match what the C's were throwing down in just a moment ago. A category, though, they've almost got the B. Actually, there's a B already getting taken down and into the A's now at this point. See if they can hold on, as already some of the stragglers in that B category. B has had some splits early on here as we see the A's taking the ones that bet the dust off the back here now. Gunther, though, at the front end of the A category. It's going to be the B's, though, with the high speeds on the downhill, catching a few of the C stragglers here. This has been crazy fast race, obviously, already, as we've already seen categories being caught very, very early. Time gaps at the bottom there. 2:23 is all that's left between the C's and the D's. 5 minutes back, though, for the B's still. A category there, closing it down pretty quickly to that B category, as we are seeing them just about to head into their San Sequoias uphill climb. And this is the section that really matters for these A category riders. They've been hammering along 5.0 plus in the front over and over again, but this is where we start to see the orange numbers. Stevie Young, Canyon, ZCC now to the front of this A category here. Here come the power-ups now. Who can make the split? Because this is where things get very difficult. Gavin Dempster, Team Draft on the front with that feather power up. 8 watts per kilogram coming from them. D. Bain from Team Finesse is there as well. B. Hodges from Evoke Bike. Podsline, Team Experimental. Some of the most well-known riders amongst this A category making the way to the front here. Now it's going to be Dempster taking over. No, Podsline, Team Experimental with that feather power up. Crimson Performance is going to the front as well. Botten coming out of Norwich. Fuel, Netherlands, now to the front as well. Top 10 currently all pushing 6+ watts per kilogram just to hang on in the front now. 46 kilometers per hour on the uphill of a 6% plus gradient. Here comes another kick from Fogli now. Team Callis Esports team, the new esports team here, putting on a show at the front here, as you can see. And it's going to be Fogli now, still kicking almost 7 watts per kilogram as they're going to head into this downhill second. It's going to be Sandvik coming through, 8 watts per kilogram coming from him. The pace is insane here at the front, but there's enough wheels, it looks like, to just hold on. Where's the split, though? The split is going to be back, it looks like, with Austed. Ridgeway also there. Worthington from BRT trying to hang on. It looks like Stevie Young from Canyon able to grab a wheel there. Holt there as well. BRT, Kayland all in. James Phillips, though, 2 seconds back. It looks like Phillips here knows that this is the section he needs to watch out for. I'm seeing James Phillips, the UK national champion, pushing 9 watts per kilogram over the top and into that section of the course to grab on the wheels. Gets into the Aero Super Truck at 65 kilometers per hour and quickly finds himself almost at the front. There's Phillips jumping onto Gavin Dempster's wheel, and they all know each other. All these riders, they are so familiar with these names that are around them, and pushing the pace here. Where is the split? Because there's got to be one with those kinds of an efforts there. There is one. 5 seconds back, it's going to be Pachu for Team Cryogen. It's going to be 76 Projects as well as Porter James. Ring is there. It's Krasovin all off the back now. 47th place has found themselves having to hammer 5 watts per kilogram. 4 seconds is the difference now. I'm not sure it's going to be coming back together. 9 watts per kilogram coming from some of the riders that are trying to make this chase down. It has to happen now, but it's going out. 56 kilometers per hour for this A category. Machala there for Team Zwift. Poland now, it looks like 47 kilometers per hour right now. And 56, they're walking away as they already are coming through this first lap with the splits. It's already 11 seconds out. Said and done. Unless there's some sort of insane effort from the chase group, there is only 43 left in this May A group at this point. We're seeing Dempster here settling in. 43, we're seeing 4.3 watts per kilogram. And that's the interest. That's the thing. Same as in real life cycling, Zwift racing, the reality of making the break and then being able to rest up and sit in. And anybody who's behind at this point, it's everything you got to push 6 to 7 watts per kilogram to bring that back. The numbers are just there. The speed is there, and it's done for the chase. 18 seconds is the difference now. 43 have made the main group, and it's going to be 6-minute difference. They've almost cut it in half already. I think the A's are favorited because of those climbs out there with 11-minute gap. The D's are going to have to make something happen right now, as the A category is absolutely flying. Only 2-minute gap here to this B category. Now, B category about to leave Ocean Boulevard, and they're going to take a right-hand turn into their second lap at TikTok here now, 26 minutes in. And the difference is 2 minutes here between this A category, or this B category and the A category. The A category just entering the same section of course as the B's now into Ocean Boulevard. Here's the underground that the B category, you can see, is just leaving. There's a little uphill grind out of Ocean Boulevard. Be a right-hand turn onto a little bit of dirt here for a moment. Guthrie now, 4.1 watts per kilogram on the front of this B category. It does look like it's going to be Gil. Carney from KRT pointing there from the dirt team there. Now 4-7 there coming from KRT. Really pushing on the pace, knowing those A's are coming on strong now at this point. They want to hold on to as much as they possibly can. But look at the C category. 136 here. As you can see, 16.3. Davies here trying to chase down a couple off the front. They may be a little bit out of category limits. We'll have to wait and see. Gallagher here from NTR. Now this is the team that you can trust. NTR, solid riders out there out of the UK. Kuko's trying to chase it down here. 5.3 watts per kilogram. This is a serious sacrifice. Look at the heart right here. After off the front now, just trying to chase down the rest of these C categories here. Big sacrifice. I think that the NTR rider Gallagher is going to have to come back into the pack in just a moment and shut down this effort, because this is way over category limits. You can only be here for so long. Look at the heart rate. 185, 186, making the chase to some of the stragglers in the D category now. Got a 1 or 2 second gap, jumps onto a wheel here now, as you can see. Gets a little bit of getting stuck in the draft just a little bit momentarily. Comes on through. Here comes Uglin then, as well as Bind coming and bunting there from Vision now. C category still holding on to a solid almost 2-minute gap over the B's. The B category now just heading into the same section, of course, we saw the C's on, but nowhere near within sight now at this point. But they were able to bring back a very solid amount of time. It was 8 minutes to start with, up to that D category. C category, I believe the difference was right around, 3 minutes, with a 5-minute head start from the C's to the D's. So they were able to bring about 1.5 minutes at this point. B category have a lot of work cut out for them, but here's the A's, and it is the A category just heading uphill and out of the Ocean Boulevard. Right-hand turn onto the same section, of course. A category really putting in the work now, and this, I believe, may be favoring them, as they have brought back well within that 11 minutes at this point, within 1 lap. And it will be, the finish line will be across the same finish line as we saw last week. It is underneath the sprint section out on Tempest Fugit. It is going to be the archway, the rock archway that we saw last week. We'll point it out as we do come through on the lap where the start of the sprint is. There'll be a little sprint banner on the right-hand side of the course, and then it is going to be the rock archway they will be finishing underneath. Good to see Tim Searle, AHDR. Big shout out to Tim Searle, one of the leaders, obviously, with the bacon. The beacon is in the house. AHDR, I would say team manager, and as well as the Hump Day ride leader, one of the biggest rides out on Zwift. Tim saying, looking tight. We really pushed the A's with the max time gaps this week. Surely they can't do it, or can they? Tim Searle. Tim helps because of his experience with the chop racing. He's actually one of the organizers that helps to set up the time gaps, analyzing things. He does such a great job each week. So big shout out to him and all the work that he's put out there, not only for the chop racing, but all of the HDR races. And I believe Tim Searle he is the current world leader, I believe, for total time and total distance out on Zwift. So big shout out to one of the most committed to, or the most committed Zwifter out there in the world right now. I'm trying to get in with a little more competition there for you, Tim, recently. I'm not sure I can catch back up. You know, overtaken myself and Scotty Weiss pretty easily in the last 2 years here. But Tim, thanks so much for all the things that you do for the community out there, and as always, you know, big ride on to you and all of the HDR out there. Looking through here in the A category, though, there's a little bit of push being made here. 43 have made the main group here at this point. And at the front end, I am seeing a couple of riders here up and out of the saddle. And I believe it is going to be Phillips from Canyon ZCC. Hacker there now from Cryogen, getting a little bit of encouragement from chat. I think he saw it in chat as Nicola Jones here saying, come on, Kevin Hacker, with a wink there. And Cryogen then immediately makes his way to the front there and pushes 6 watts per kilogram. Might suffer for that, though. 157 beats per minute. Carter now to the front. It looks like Dempster as well. Stevie Young, though, taking over. And he is a big boy, you know. Stevie Young can hammer out big watts actually here. And his teammate as well, Phillips, there, able to do so as well. Dempster now taking over, though, with the draft now. We're seeing 400 plus watts in the front, 6.6 watts per kilogram. Canyon now there, 3.4, backing off at 325. So Stevie Young, absolutely hammering. And if you don't follow Stevie Young over on Instagram, make sure to do so. He's all the Python, as he's known for, Canyon CCC. Always out there putting out some great posts about his Zwift racing, and we see him in the weight room quite a lot, and that's where this big watts most likely coming from on these flatter sections of the course now. 385, 391 watts right now, 5.5 watts per kilogram, as you can see. So Stevie Young now getting some camera time to the front as they catch a few of the stragglers from the C and the B category. Now let's jump back in with the D's. It's going to be on prop here, it looks like, with a 48-second gap still back to the C category here. Now we're looking at, looks like rider coming out of the Netherlands here. It's going to be Ludik Huizen, just ahead of Anna Siga for the Z Sun team out of Iceland here. So Farsman there as well. Proctor, Belmont off the front there, but 3.9 watts per kilogram, well over category limits. So Belmont most likely will be called from the race. Watts per kilogram team, though, on the front there with Prop there out of the Netherlands, hammering away 3.1 watts per kilogram. Big shout out to Prop there, as well as Duffins and MF out of Germany. That's your top 4 currently in that D category right now. So C category, though, they're only 56 seconds back from those Ds at this point. So D category, the chase is on. They've got to start bringing things to, bringing people to the front, burning some matches, because this C category looks like they're going to make this happen out here and bring them within the fold of this chop here in just a moment. Absolutely great to see the time gaps between each category over on ZwiftPower.com. If you haven't checked out some of the new features that they have developed over there, you can see the time gaps over there as well. You can also see the estimated time of arrival actually between each of the categories and start making your predictions about who is going to finish first. The B category and the A category are actually within a pretty tight margin, and the C category. According to ZwiftPower.com right now, we're seeing a 54-52 for the 40 riders that are in the A category, 20 riders with a 54-47 actually with a faster finishing time. D category, it is saying, are going to be caught pretty easily out there today unless they do start putting some pressure on. Now, that's not to take any wind out of your sail. If you're in the D category and you are trying to hold on, it just means push on. Try and hold on as possibly can. And when that C category does come on through, grab a wheel and try and hold on, because it does look like they are giving the A category a little bit of a run for their money out there today. But the C and the B and the A category, all within 10 seconds of their estimated time of arrival out there today, actually. So, real quickly here for the C category, we are seeing Cordry here, the rider that, as well as Gallagher. Very strong riders here. Gallagher, be watching out for him for a solid effort here, riding for NTR. Jamie Blythe is also out there, also has a solid sprint. Thomas Gallagher, though, as we're looking at out on course here, this is a level 13 Zwifter, a little bit newer, it looks like, to the world of Zwift racing, but he's jumped in with the NTR team. We've actually got some background on the NTR team. The North Tinsdale riders, they have been recruiting for Zwift, it looks like a whole lot. There's almost a full page riders over on the over on ZwiftPower.com. I was going to say it's a Zwift club for members in North Tinsdale Riders CC. They're based obviously in Timbuktu, UK. So Gallagher here, as well as Jamie Blythe, riding for that NTR team. They've been showing up in a lot of the broadcasts that we've been doing recently for the races, the Fusion ECT, DBR as well, Hino Cup. And now, obviously, with the Lamb Chop, they've been showing up and looking to take some. I'm watching out for Charlie Ryan for the sprint, actually. If the C category is able to hold on here, Charlie's got a solid kick to the line that I've seen him throw down, as well as Jamie Blythe. Off the back, though, a little bit, though, Blythe as unable to hang on in the C category. So it does look like it's going to be Gallagher as well as Charlie Ryan that are going to be the main MTR riders that are in there. Root riders, though, with Reinke and Schorgenhammer. Schorgenhammer's got a kick to the line as well. We've seen him up in the 9.2 watts per kilogram. I'm seeing Thor H. Ulgalan, though. He's got 11.4 watts per kilogram, 1,000 watt sprint. So the C category got some good sprinters. If they're able to hang on when that B category may make the catch, we may see a sprint to the line on a flatter section of the course. It's not uphill, so it will come down to who's got the kick amongst the riders here. So D category, though, about to be caught. It looks like here 20 seconds. The difference can be all about hanging on at that point. Martin Jornbeck, good to see SZ here, still involved there toward first or second place now. Lindhoff now trying to take over out of Sweden as well. So the Swedish riders here not giving up the ghost just yet, as the C category almost within sight. There's the bend just ahead that this D category is on. It is within 0.3 kilometers here at this point between these categories. So as you can see here at the bottom of your screen there, you do see 23.4 and 23.1 kilometers finished here so far for the categories here. So that's the difference. It's just about a tenth of a kilometer between the riders here, so 100 meters. Gallagher, no, it's actually going to be Kuko to the front here. No, excuse me, it's Liam Blake now taking over in this C category at the front end, trying to make the catch happen pretty quickly. Maybe even a little bit of a split looking to happen. Team Kids, it looks like SAS Cycling here. Elliot Blake now taking over. This is level 33 Zwifter. He's got 107 races out on Zwift, and it looks like he's been doing the Tour of London actually. Took 14th place in the Tour of London with a solid average watts per kilogram. So maybe a little bit over category limits here if you were going to be in and amongst the riders there, pushing things on here, Elliot Blake, perhaps. But solid efforts here coming from Blake as he jumps in with these C category riders. So Gallagher, though, 3.4s, we're seeing 179 beats per minute as they are going to make the catch here. They can see those D category riders just ahead. Here's the D's as they look to hold off. Is anybody going to shoot out the front, try and make a last-ditch effort here? But it does look like it's going to be Kuko here now making the catch along with Gallagher from NTR. Bunting from Vision now coming on through at 3.6 watts per kilogram, 12 seconds is the difference, but that's going to be shut down pretty quickly here, and there is the catch. Back in with the B's, though. Catching a few of the C's that have fallen off base. I believe that is going to be the group that is containing the Jamie Blythe the rest of the C category riders that did fall off the pace of the main, C's actually. So as they head on through here, these B category riders are looking to hold off that 123, 222 this A category. There's still plenty of landscape to work with here, and the A category has shut down almost a full 11 minutes at this point. 9 minutes has been shut down by this A category at this point. We're looking at Brown here now, absolutely flying here, and the pace at the front to hold on at the front of this A category. You've had to hold, looking through the watts per kilogram, for the duration of the race for this A category so far. And from what I can see, it's been about at the upper end, 5 watts per kilogram from Kev Hacker. We're seeing Gavin Dempster, 4.8 watts per kilogram from him. I mean, huge efforts here. The lowest watts per kilogram amongst the front end. Now, this is to show that it is essentially a category team time trial, because a lot of times riders can sit in, and they do sit in and try and reserve as much energy as they possibly can. But you'll sometimes see one of the riders around 3.9, 4.0 watts per kilogram. Everybody in this front runner group, 43 plus riders, are at 4.1 watts per kilogram or higher, all within 4.1 to 5.0. And they've been driving the pace at the front at 6.0 plus when they are on the front. So absolutely flying here. Stevie Young, a sprinter, 4.3 average here out here today. So huge speed, huge watts here now at this point. Average, the heart rate's 179, 160 beats per minute here. Nobody really taking it easy. Nobody's sitting in. They know they all got to put it on the line here to try and bring this back, and that's why we're seeing average speeds here at 50 kilometers per hour plus. That's why they brought back 9+ minutes within 30 kilometers or so at this point. So the A's categories are absolutely flying here. So let's get to your predictions coming on through here. I'm seeing Morton Vang, Team Callis. Good to see him here. Vang here now. Time to drop the hammer. And cheering on his teammates out there, as we do have Tom O'Kalin and a couple others there for Team Callis out on course here. So looking through the A category still, this is the heavy hitters, but they've got to still chase down this B category. They're almost in the same section of course there, as you can see. Less than 50 seconds, 40 seconds actually, as the B category is leaving the Oasis here now, as it is going to be A category. Also about to head into their Santa Sequoia's climb now. C category just getting into the flatter sections, into the San Sequoia turn off now. Left-hand turn in just a moment. Gallagher here from NTR now. They've made the catch on the D category. D category, though, just a couple of riders still hanging tough in there, it looks like. As we do see here, a couple of sole riders here. It is going to be Lutekhuizen out of the Netherlands now trying to hang on. It's going to be 2 seconds back to Proctor, but Lutekhuizen now just hanging on barely here at the front end of the C category. C category pressing on, though, with a couple of riders off the front here now, it looks like. Interesting to see as they're looking to make a chop maybe early, because they do not want... Now, this is a good move. Very good move. And this is what they're looking to make happen, I believe, here. Make an early chop. Have the A and the B category. Catch a few stragglers. Back off perhaps a little bit. And maybe be able to hang on off the front. Because the reality is, at this point, you're going to be caught. It looks like you're going to be caught. It's time to make a chop. It's any dead weight needs to just let go at this point. That's what the C category looks to be doing. 110 back to the B category. Here they are. It's going to be the one rider off the front here. Kroll from Fusion Dev here. It looks like trying to jump back on terms here. It's going to be Dorklund here from Scholl. GK there, as well as Ponton from Dirt as well. And the now Fusion Dev coming on through with Heiberg now. Lots of power-ups now being blown, as you can see, trying to hang on through this section. To the front, though, 8 watts per kilogram coming from one of the riders there in that B category. Very quickly looking to ramp up the speed as they see the A category now pushing on almost exactly in the same section of course. They almost got him with inside. It's going to be left-hand turn in just a moment here. Button here. It looks like Hodge is now at the front from Evoke now out of the US of A. Fogley now for Callis now making it to the front. Snagglepuss for Cryogen. It's going to be Button there with King. Carter also to the front. 6 watts per kilogram on the front. Now backing off momentarily. Will there be another kick? No, Dempster backing off. Dempster now draft 2.8, 2.6, 50 kilometers per hour still, but they can see in the upper right-hand corner of the map, they're starting to see the blue and the green of the little dots on course there in that map, mini map, are showing them exactly where out on course the riders that they're chasing down are here at this point. The gap is now 25 seconds. The B category, though, here's the front of the B category. There's some stragglers they're starting to see, but that's not what they got to catch. They got to catch the front end of it here. The B category is hanging on to about 20 seconds plus here at this point. C category got about a minute here as they head into Ocean Boulevard. C category might be able to make this happen. 124. There's a lot of distance yet to make up, though. 6.6 kilometers here. They got to keep the speed as absolutely as high as possible here. Now, 180 beats per minute here. It's going to be all about the last matches to burn. How much do they have left in the tank? Make the way to the front here at this point here. Keffer now 4.6. Mazorchi now also 4.6. 4.6 from Keffer continually out of the US of A. 4.9 now as they continue with that speed. It's such a smart move here. Take the speed onto the downhill, continuance on through, and roll through with as much as you possibly can. Do not back off at any point here. They really got to start punching, though, at this point at the front here. We got to see some orange numbers, some complete sacrifices from these C category riders. They cannot be thinking about the category in fighting. They have to be thinking about the win outright, because the B category and the A category they can taste blood in the water here at this point. They can see victory coming here. A category as well. They're trying to do everything they can against each other here to hold off. 6 kilometers to go. A category will catch the Bs, I believe, but with 1 minute gap still being held onto. A right-hand turn at this point here. C category may be able to make it happen. I think it's going to be all about that climb, though, out of Ocean Boulevard to see what's going to go down. Let us know, who do you think is going to take the win out here today between the Bs and the Cs and the As? It looks like it's an A favorite out here today. Very different situation than what we saw in the women's only races. The A category has the numbers out here to make this happen. But the C category still has a 1 minute gap, but 1 minute over 5.4 kilometers looks to be shut down very quickly. There might be just enough left, though, amongst these C category riders just to hold off. Now, within the categories, though, if you got a specific prediction, though, let us know who you think might win amongst the category. If you think the A category is going to take it down here today. Looking through a few of the comments coming on here, and it does look like if A-Cap keeps up the 350 watts, they'll make it. We're hearing from Raymond. Raymond, our rank, good to see you there over on the YouTube, over at Zwift's YouTube. Great to see all the viewers, actually, huge amount of viewers actually today over at YouTube. Thanks a lot for jumping in to the broadcast. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that follow button for our live broadcast wherever you are watching out today. We are live over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Mixer. Make sure to turn your web notifications on as well here on Zwift, as well as Zwift Live. You can also head on over to Zwift Community Live, where the community races take place, where we do those races as well. And make sure to hit those follow buttons there as well. Now over here on the C category, though, as we're into the final few kilometers here, 4.5 kilometers to go. This is the last section, of course, where they really need to make an effort here. B categories we're seeing on Ocean Boulevard about to hit that uphill grind here as well. 47 seconds here. The C category could pull this off. There is, maybe just enough landscape here. Right-hand turn now, still 40 seconds out. The A category, though, they look they're going to be making the juncture up to this B category. They have not hit that section, of course, the C's just left yet. They still got the uphill grind. It is a half a kilometer now at this point. So C category still pressing on. B category here now about to be caught by the A's. It is only a 10-second gap. They've got them within sights now, and the A's are about to kick into the orange numbers. We're going to see 8, 9, 10 watts per kilogram here in just a moment. Dempster making his way to the front now. Here comes the big hitters. Gunther now. Hacker now. 8.4 watts per kilogram to the front now. It's going to be buried from the BRT team now. Catching a few of the stragglers from the D category. BRT, Lexi Lightning now. Netherlands making his way to the front. Cryogen's there as well. A Barry, BRT. They see the light blue kids within their sights. But will they back off a little bit once they catch that main B cat now at this point. It's going to be, it looks like Sablucha here coming out of Poland now, making his way to the front. 4.3 watts per minute, 158 beats per minute. Stevie Young there, Cannon, ZCC, 175 beats per minute. Really hammered away here at this point. Warren just about to be caught. Here they go through the dust now and trying to make their way to whatever wheel they can find or just go flying through this B category. B category now, as you can see, with one rider off the front fin here trying to hold off those A's. 347 watts now here coming from this B category, but the A's have made the catch. It's going to be all about the 40 seconds up to the C's. They're off of that section, of course, we just saw. They're off of the bridge here. Well, just about to leave this bridge. Going past the right-hand side of Kansas Sequoias here. 3.2 kilometers to go to the finish line. With 41 seconds, they can make this happen. They really got to put it in the sacrifice, though. Head down. This is you got to get into a lead out now. It's got to be about leading out a sprint for whoever you want to win. If you want your category to win at this point, it cannot be about yourself. If they start trying to make a chop amongst themselves and not hold off that A category, it's going to be over, because Merritt here from Cryogen's pushing 6 watts per kilogram. It's 3.2 kilometers to the finish line. They've got 400 meters is the difference. 400 meters is the difference between these two. Santa Sequoia's on the right. They're leaving that section of the course now that the A's were just on. The A's are about to head through the desert, or head into that desert section we just saw the C's on. Here's the situation currently now. Gallagher, NTR, do they care to work together here off the front there? There it is. The lead-out train is starting. There's a ride-on at the front of the C category at this point. Now it looks like Cordy Strawberry aren't now there as well. A category, they've got to start putting the sacrifice as well. The B category is swelling with this A category at this point. It's only, now it's 300 meters still though. The C category, they might be able to pull this off. It looks like it might happen. It's starting to get strung out here. The lead out is there. 8 watts per kilogram, 9 watts per kilogram, really driving the pace here now. Looking to go across, and these attacks may favor them. Still got work to do for the win. We're hearing from Tom O'Callaghan in the chat there with the A category, and he is absolutely right. B category, A category, all mixed together. 25 seconds. C category might be able to pull this off. I thought for sure that the A category was going to do it, but there's a break here. 5 seconds up with, it looks like Blake Davies and one of the riders out of France up ahead, 4 watts per kilogram. They've got to push, and it looks like there's too much infighting in the A category. They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. It doesn't look like. It's within 1.8 kilometers now at this point, and the C category pressing on Gallagher NTR. I think they know that they have it at this point. 30 seconds, it's going out actually. The gap is not coming down. The infighting has started, and C category gave up too early. They began holding hands and looking at each other, and it looks like the C category is going to take this outright. Davies now at the front here now as well. It looks like Kandorp now coming out of the Netherlands, pushing on. 4-second gap. Kuko there. This C category is going to catch behind here, I think. Gallagher NTR starting to sacrifice a little bit here. Davies pushes on 7 watts per kilogram. Now backing up a little bit here. Team Kids there as well. SAS, 1 second gap, 2 second gap, back to those chasing group now of Graham, Team VS, Cordry, Kuko, Subsea now, all trying to come on through with 2 seconds here. Up and out of the saddle, here come the orange numbers now. Elliott, Blake, it looks like 1 second back though to the main chase with the C's. We're about to see the banner in just a second with 1K to go. Davies pushes on here. Where is the rest of this C category? The A category, they're not even within sight at this point. They gave up too early. Little bit too much here from this C category. I think well over category limits for these riders. I think they will get relegated for some of this front end riders. But Kuko here coming through for Poland now, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Stevie Young now, 4.5 now, pushing on through though in this A category. A category, here's the difference. They are just about to hit that same section as the C's though, but it's going to be here now as well as Davies. This well over category limits here, I think, as some of these riders in the C category perhaps a little bit off here, but Reineke behind, I think, is the official there, but it's going to be Reineke now, 8 watts per 9 watts per kilogram, 7 seconds back here from these main riders here. A category starting to open up here, but it's going to be too little, too late, with only 200 meters to go to the line here. The A category slept on it, and because they started infighting, we're not able to take the win outright here. C category is going to win with Davies across the line, followed up by here. Then it's going to be Blake, and then Uglan there. It's going to be a cross-line Cans up there as well. Back in with the A category there. Well, the A category about to come through for their sprint as well. Looks like amongst the A's now, it's going to be Phillips with a solid sprint just ahead of Evoke Brian Hodges there. Phillips, I believe, came through for third or fourth. Huge efforts there coming on through for that A category. So what amazing efforts there for the C's. I thought for sure the A's were going to be able to pull it off, but no. Robert Graham, followed up by Thomas Reinecke there. Gary Corge, we said, always a solid rider there for Strava Art there, riding for the pack. 1.54 back for third place. Tom Gallagher for the NTR team. Nice job to Gallagher. One of his first times out there. It looks like Charlie and Jamie got him out there and was able to get him into a top 4 situation for NTR. Ingo Schorgenhammer there, coming on through for 5th place for Rue Riders. 6th place is going to be Jocelyn Bain, and then it's going to be Adam Fast. Keeping it fast at 7th place for Beagle Pro Bike, and then Barnaby Sumner coming through for 8th. Victor Shepsey there for Team Marty's, and then Rune Anderson Grain for Team CLS. Well, that's going to be it for our 6 race series. Hey, there you got some results here. Hey, what? Can you see me? Well, we'll just keep them there? All right. So that's going to be it for the Lamb Chop Racing series that we've had. This has been in partnership with Black Sheep Cycling. Big shout out to them for designing the kits. Big shout out to everybody that jumped into the racing. We're able to get those kits in game, and each and every one of the categories working together to try and win week in and week out. This has been Handicap Racing out on Zwift. It's been a lot of fun to broadcast, a lot of fun to commentate on. One of my favorite races to do, mainly because anybody can win and everybody in the community shows up and everybody gets a shout out. It's always great to see. Next up for Lamb Chop Racing, if you do want to do, there's one more to do for the Americas. We will not be broadcasting, but women's only race 7 p.m. EST, and it will also be 7:45 p.m. EST for the open race. Next up for broadcast, we'll see you next week over on Zwift Community Live as well as on Zwift Live for some more broadcasting. Make sure to hit those follow buttons for those. You can obviously find us on Zwift Live or Zwift Community Live. You can find ZwiftCommunityLive.com as well. And big shout out to everybody that did participate again. And shout out to all the riders that showed up. A category. You know what happened there? Come on, boys. Can't be sleeping in the last few hundred meters. Backed off, and the C category able to take the win this week. Nice job to the C category out there. Big shout out to them. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, everybody, we'll see you next time, and ride on.